Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing absolutely amazing because I am, and I have one message to bring to all of you with absolute joy and pleasure. Chelsea are back, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Chelsea I know and love, and we are back. Yes, we are. Flipping incredible performance. What a performance that was. It's unreal the way that we're playing at the moment. And tonight was the result that we needed, we wanted, and we got. We got the win, even though it was just 1-0. There are a couple of things to improve on, that's for sure, but what a dominant performance that was from minute one until the end. Absolute pure dominance once again. You know, against Wolves, you could see a little dynamic starting to kick off. Against Burnley, it was a great game. And tonight, fantastic. It's just, our game is evolving. It's evolving, and in the space of 3 games, Thomas Tuchel, no goals conceded, clean sheets in every single one, 2 wins out of 3, and we're playing absolutely fantastic football, whether it's offensively or defensively. We're doing great. Unreal. What a performance against Spurs, and just as I predicted, Spurs were not at the races today, and I don't think it's just them not being at the races. I don't think they signed up for the race in the first place. That's how deep it's going for them, because they look a shambles, especially in terms of actually not just defensively, but trying to do something. Trying to create or attack. Nothing. And I can totally understand what expressions means now by fossil football and Katie Hopkins football and all the analogies that he creatively uses. I don't know how expressions does that. He's got a mind of his own, honestly. He's an absolute immense person to commentate on football matches overall. But what a performance. Let's get into the starting lineup and what we went with at the beginning of the game. This is what Thomas Tuchel chose as his starting 11. We went with the same formation of a 3-4-2-1. Edouard Mendy in goal, Azpilicueta, Rudiger and Thiago Silva as our centre-backs. Reece James as the right wing-back tonight instead of Hudson-Odoi. Marcos Alonso as left wing-back. Kovacic and Jorginho as the 2 in the pivot once again. Mason Mount just ahead of them alongside Callum Hudson-Odoi, who was playing a lot more offensively tonight, and Timo Werner up front. This was honestly a really interesting lineup and an interesting formation. Why? Because we didn't expect Hudson-Odoi to be playing in that sort of position. We expected Hudson-Odoi to be playing as a right wing-back again, much like he did against Wolves, much like he did against Burnley, and it worked very, very well. I didn't expect him to be playing a little bit more offensively, but it made sense. When I saw the lineup, it made sense. When you know the way that Tottenham have been defending recently, and you know that they're still a little bit brittle, you know they don't have a Reguilon, they have to play Ben Davies to try and sort that left-hand side out. If you have Hudson-Odoi on that right-hand side of the 2-10s, and you have a Reece James on the overlap, as well as an Azpilicueta attacking when he has to, there's just a complete mad amount of turbulence there for one player like Ben Davies to take care of, which he couldn't in the end. So that's honestly a very good tactical decision from Thomas Tuchel. But overall, I just want to say, from the get-go, we were playing in a way where Tottenham couldn't keep up, and that is exactly what I wanted. And I said in the preview, if we are passing the ball too quickly and we're moving for each other too quickly, they are not going to keep up. And a key example of this was where it looked like Mourinho had instructed Ndombele and Højbjerg to sit and man-mark Kovacic and Jorginho. And I said this in the watch-along. I noticed at the very beginning, it was those two being man-marked. But when you man-mark a player, you try to eliminate him out of the game. You don't want him receiving the ball, because that's the whole point of man-marking. When he does receive the ball, it's your job to win it off him and, you know, cut off the threat. That's the whole point of man-marking. They man-marked Jorginho and Kovacic, yet somehow we were still able to pass it around, get it to Jorginho, get it to Kovacic, and sometimes even avoid them and just bypass them, give it to Hudson-Odoi, give it to Mason Mount. So we've basically just nullified those two trying to man-mark Jorginho and Kovacic. Tactically, we were spot on. Tactically, as I've said, that was just one element, but getting the ball forward, getting the ball into spaces, in those half spaces, getting our new 2-10s and Mason Mount and Hudson-Odoi involved, getting Timo Werner involved, getting our wing-backs involved, them coming back to defend, even defensively, whenever we were on a transition, so Tottenham all of a sudden win the ball when they're trying to come at us, we win the ball back so easily. I mean, every element of our game seems to have improved. We win the ball back. We keep control of possession, we get the ball to the opponent's half, we move into spaces for each other, we create chances. The only thing that we need to improve on is putting the ball in the net. and getting our forward men to actually hit the target. And even though tonight I would say that's a better performance than it was against Burnley in terms of chances created, because tonight we created a lot of chances. If I'm not mistaken, I think we had about 20 chances or something like that. Last time I checked was like 10 minutes before the end of the game, or 15 minutes before the end of the game, and we had 15 chances compared to Spurs' 2. So honestly, that tells you everything you need to know. We were completely dominant. The one thing to improve on is to get our forward men to try and hit the target. But even so, tonight they did better. Tottenham were blocking though. You saw the save from Lloris. You saw Eric Dier throw his body on the line a couple of times, which is what was required because they weren't doing anything much apart from that. So, you know, Timo Werner had his shot blocked. Reece James had his shot blocked. Kovacic had his shot blocked. Mason Mount had his shot blocked. But even so, there were chances where we could pass out to whoever was running on the overlap. We didn't do that. So there are little tweaks that we need to make in trying to open the space up for ourselves, catch an opponent off guard in terms of marking. That way we have a clear one-on-one on goal. But honestly, from the get-go, we were great. The first goal coming from a fantastic ball from Azpilicueta straight into the box. Timo Werner managing to get onto the end of it, which is exactly what I said we needed to do with getting in behind with Timo Werner, getting the ball into the spaces that he's going to run into. He done just that, straight into the box. Eric Dier, I don't know what Eric Dier was trying to do. I have no idea what he thought he was doing. He thought it was a good decision. It wasn't. He stuck his leg out with no ball whatsoever. Timo Werner goes down. It's a penalty. Jorginho makes his return as our penalty taker. And he makes his return without the hop and just hitting the ball into the net. And what a penalty it was. Fantastic placement. You can tell he's been practicing on those. So fair play to Jorginho. But even after that, the entire first half, Tottenham were shocking. I mean, shocking. It was poor. Mainly because of the control that we had in the game. And we didn't really allow much possession for Tottenham in the first place. We had complete dominance of that game, passing the ball about and just trying to get through those spaces and trying to create chances for each other. And as well as that, we win the ball back so quickly. In the second half, there was always going to be a threat in the first 10-15 minutes that Tottenham were going to come at us knowing they're 1-0 down. They need to try and get us on the front foot, throw the kitchen sink and try and take the game to us. They tried. They failed. And that's where I knew, look, we really should not be conceding tonight. We really should not, because up until about the 55th, 60th minute, they did manage to up the tempo, up the intensity, have a little bit more of the ball, but then it dipped again. And this is what happens when you come all out, all guns blazing, and you don't maintain your tempo, you don't maintain your intensity. That's what happens, and that's exactly what went down with Tottenham. They didn't bother to change much. I know Jose brought on Mora, and he brought on a couple of other players to help Lamela to try and create a little bit more balance and a little bit more offensive threat. Didn't do much because defensively, we looked fantastic. We looked like we had everything under control. We saw a great save from Mendy. The only time I think he got worked during the game was that shot from Lamela. And apart from that, we were always able to nullify by just winning back possession, making those tackles, packing the Tottenham players that are on the ball with men, making them panic and winning the ball off them. Now, Thiago Silva came off with a bit of an injury, which was a little bit of a concern, but it's not a hamstring, it's a thigh. Thigh injury, so thank goodness it's not his hamstring, because the thigh is, you know, better to recover with than a hamstring. With a hamstring, you're not running. With a thigh, you can run at least a bit more than you could with a hamstring injury. So thank God it's just that, and hopefully it's not a bad one. That way he can be back really, really soon. But Tottenham in the last 15 minutes, where they knew they had to come at us, they knew they had nothing to lose at that point, was where we began to see them be a little bit more threatening. And it was at that point where I started to get a little bit concerned that they could nick something. Vinicius with that late header was a very good example. But apart from that, they didn't do much. And this formation and this system that we're playing in, it helps us so much in winning spaces on the offensive. Even if we're trying to hit a counter, it helps us. If we're not trying to hit a counter and we're trying to dominate the play and we're utilising the ball and passing and moving about for each other, that still helps us. And if we're trying to defend, that still helps us. This system that Thomas Tuchel has implemented at Chelsea has been fantastic. It's fantastic. It works in every single situation. It works. So it's nice to see the boys reacting. It's nice to see players like Azpilicueta reacting really well. Rudiger, who played really well. I can't even fault anyone. Everyone played well. I just want to give a special shout out though to two players that I thought were absolutely sublime tonight, especially one of them. Shout out goes to Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic, especially Mateo Kovacic. I mean, wow. What an absolute beast. And I said at the beginning of this video in terms of the man marking that Spurs and Jose tried to implement on Kovacic and Jorginho, well, they found the way around that very easily. And they made it look like light work. They made it look like it was just a little distraction. I haven't got to focus on that. That's not a threat. That's not a threat. They were sublime. Constantly moving, constantly getting into the spaces, being very physical, winning back possession, not allowing anyone through, passing in combinations, the 1-2s between those two to move about the Tottenham players. I mean, the whole thing playing in triangles, it was great. It was absolutely phenomenal. And Kovacic came off absolutely shattered. You could tell he was tired to hell. A fair play because he put in one hell of a shift. But everyone that came on as well, Pulisic, fantastic display when he come on. Kante, even when Kante came on, you know, he looked good. Full of energy, was good to see. Christensen, that everyone had doubts about, he done well when Silva had to come off, and he played a big portion of the game, Christensen. But this is the point about the formation and the system that we're playing in. Even protects Christensen because he hasn't got that much to do as a standard centre-back with two centre-backs next to him as protection. It's just the whole thing clicked. The whole thing just clicked, and it's now starting to look like we're upping the level. We're starting to get somewhere. And this result was huge because we needed to win this to get back into the top 4 race. If you look at the Premier League table now, we are back in the mix. We sit in 6th, currently above Tottenham, and even if Tottenham win their game in hand, they remain behind us. Unless if they score loads of goals, then they go above us on goal difference. Everton do have 2 games in hand. They currently sit behind us, but level on points, so there's a chance they'll go above. But apart from that, West Ham have played the same amount of games. We are 2 points behind them. Liverpool, same amount of games. We're 4 points behind them. Leicester, same amount of games. We're 6 points behind them, and they're in 3rd. Man United, they're in 2nd. Same amount of games. We are 8 points behind them. The gaps are closing. We have to hope that they start to slip up and we take advantage. And by God, if we keep playing the way we're playing like tonight, and we progress and we get better and better, it's going to be a very interesting end to the season. And dare I say, bring on Atletico. Bring on Atletico. Because by the time we reach that, we could be at a complete other dimension by the time we get to that game. And hopefully we are, because Thomas Tuchel has clearly worked absolute wonders with this team. Everyone is responding perfectly. Everyone is doing exactly as they are told. Everyone's fighting for each other. And everyone is playing off the park. Not one bad performance. When have we been able to say that? It's been a really long time. So I'm really happy. Fantastic win against Jose Mourinho's Tottenham. Well done, Chelsea. Well done to all the players. Well done to Thomas Tuchel. Fantastic. Let's keep this up. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your opinions. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. And yeah, honestly, I am buzzing. I know all of you are too. A few of you asked me on the watch long to give you guys a certain celebration. So I'm going to do that now, yeah? How about we do it? The chunk celebration. 1-0 winners on the night. Well done, Chelsea. Let's move on to the next one and keep this run going. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good one. Look after yourselves. Take care and peace.